C5 versus C6 Corvette. This is the most common type of Corvette comparison video that you'll see on YouTube, and the reason is simple. These two generations are the closest in terms of design, looks, performance, and price, more so than any other two modern generations of Corvette. And potential Corvette buyers are smart, which means they usually do plenty of due diligence before plunking down their hard-earned cash. And that includes watching videos like this one, which is certainly helpful in the decision-making process as to which generation of Corvette to buy. So in this video, I'm going to make a few vehicle assumptions, and then we're going to take a look at several decent examples of C5s and C6s for sale right now across the country and see how much you'll likely have to pay for each one.
Toys for life.
The first assumption I'm going to make is that you've already watched my C5 Corvette buyer's guide, and as such, we're only going to be looking at 2001 through 2004 C5 Corvettes because of the material improvements that they have that make them better choices for most potential buyers. Improvements such as newer electronic brake control modules, which are both more available and more repairable, versus the ones you find in the 97 through 2000 C5 Corvettes. Improvements like the improved torque tubes with the larger, stronger internals that you'll find in the 2001 through 2004 Corvettes. And finally, improvements to the later year C5s that resulted in less piston slap and oil burning issues than the earlier years did, due to improved and revised piston and ring assemblies. And if for some reason these types of improvements don't matter much to you, you can absolutely tweak your search criteria to include the 97 through 2000 Corvettes, and that'll most certainly turn up a few more less expensive specimens for you to consider. If you happen to be more interested in convertibles instead, then by all means go ahead and eliminate the coupes, which achieves the same objectives of minimizing the effect of key variables that you're not interested in. And finally, I will be looking for Corvettes with up to 100,000 miles on the odometer because, in my opinion, when cars are this many years old, it is not that difficult to find specimens that are in fantastic condition with plenty of life left, and you'll save a bunch of money. Oh, and make no mistake, when considering Corvettes with up to 100,000 miles, it makes it even more important to do a thorough and comprehensive pre-purchase inspection, which you should be doing anyway. So how much does a 2001 through 2004 C5 Corvette with 85,000 miles in decent condition cost in 2025? Let's take a look at Kelley Blue Book, and I know it's not going to be the exact value, but it will give us some good data points, and then we can look at some actual cars across the country that are for sale right now and see what the live data is telling us. Here's Kelley Blue Book's website. I'm going to search by make and model. 2001 Chevrolet Corvette, 85,000 miles, and your zip code, hatchback, coupe, standard equipment, and I'll do red for all of these. Selling my car, trade and private party value, very good condition, maybe later, and Kelley Blue Book says it's worth $12,800. I went ahead and entered in the same exact information for the 2002, 3, and 4 C5 Corvettes, and here are the private party values that Kelley Blue Book gave me. Of course, none of these numbers are going to be perfect, but at least now we have something to go on, and I think they're better than some random guy on a forums plucked from who knows where estimate of market value. Now let's take a look at some actual C5 Corvettes for sale right now across the country on Cars.com and see what I can find that appears to be in decent condition with around 85,000 miles. Oh, and it goes without saying that any car that I might point out would really need a full and thorough in-person evaluation to confirm that it's really in decent shape. My nationwide search on Cars.com turned up about 95 matches. Sorted by the lowest price first, these first ones are always going to be the repairables. This one looks to be a convertible, and it is. This one has its headlights stuck up. I appreciate the honesty. This seller isn't rated, and digging a bit further, they really don't have any current reviews, and the ones they do have, well, you can see. This car does look to be pretty decent, so if it wasn't too far of a drive, I'd check it out. This place really needs to get some more positive reviews. This one looks promising, only 56,000 miles at a local Chevrolet dealer. Looks to be in great shape, aftermarket stereo, and bam, they're being honest and showing it has an issue, and if it was an easy fix, the Chevrolet dealer would have done it. I guess that's why it's got the red tag discount, and the issue is not specifically mentioned in the notes, but they did include that photo. Here's one from AutoNation. Looks to be in decent condition, but the wheels are lame, and for some reason they didn't feel the need to clean the interior. Also, it's modified with aftermarket radio and carbon fiber type interior parts. So I'm not having much luck on cars.com. Let's switch to Facebook Marketplace, and boom, this one doesn't look too bad. It's a 2002 with 78,000 miles on the clock. Here's a 2001 with only 52,000 miles on it. I think the wheels are painted and it's got caliper covers, but other than that, it looks fairly nice. Manual transmission cars are out there, but they're not nearly as common. This one's a 2002 with about 100,000 miles on it for 14 grand, and it might be worth checking out. I spent quite a bit more time evaluating and looking at C5s, and at the end of the day, I think those Kelley Blue Book values are a little bit on the low side. And one thing that was reaffirmed by looking at a whole bunch of these cars, again, they are 20 plus years old. Some of them are going to have issues, so you really need to be diligent to make sure that you don't end up with a dud. Especially if a car is not close to where you live. Before you drive all the way out to check it out, take the simple step of having a conversation with the car's owner. You can discuss any issues that the car has, the condition that it's in, and how long that they've owned it, etc., etc. You can absolutely find out a whole bunch more about a car by having that conversation, and typically without fail, things will be revealed by having the conversation that wouldn't have been revealed if you just relied on texting and emailing. So at the end of the day, it is my opinion that as of late July 2025, you can absolutely find a decent condition C5 Corvette. If you've got a little patience, you're willing to do some searching, make a few phone calls, and drive up to a couple of hours for around $14,000 to $16,000. Now, let's switch our focus to C6 Corvettes. For the C6s, I'm going to go ahead and skip the 2005 model year because it's the first year of a new generation, because it's got a one-off, one-year, known weak differential, and 3, the manual transmission 2005s have this weird deal where you've got to leave it in reverse or the ignition won't shut off. Obviously, that third item was an overreach by the safety engineering team because by 2006, the requirement to leave the manual transmission in reverse was gone. Now, if none of those 3 items bother you at all, go ahead and keep the 2005 in your search criteria. You can absolutely do that, and they typically do sell for quite a bit of a discount. So just how much is a 2006, 7, 8, or 9 non-Z06, non-ZR1 C6 Corvette worth in 2025? Let's go back to Kelley Blue Book and we'll get some data points that certainly are much better than ones that are plucked from air. Make and model, 2006 Chevrolet Corvette, 85,000 miles and your zip code, coupe and coupe again. Standard equipment, I'll do red once again. Selling my car, trade and private party value, very good condition, maybe later. And Kelley Blue Book says it's worth just over $19,000. Next, I did the exact same thing for the 2007, 8, and 9 C6 Corvettes. And here's where we get some data that doesn't quite seem to make sense. According to Kelley Blue Book, the value of a 2006 Corvette is worth slightly more than a 2009 Corvette. And as most of us know, that's simply not the case. As with everything in life, always remember to never turn your brain off and always question anything that's important to you. So for this situation, I double-checked my work and got the same results, and then I ran the values for all 4 years one more time using the zip code for a major city where Kelley Blue Book should have tons of data to harvest, and I got the same result. So obviously that left me scratching my head, but since we're going to be putting much more faith in the price of cars that we find currently for sale anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take some wild liberty here and say that the Kelley Blue Book values for 2006 through 2009 C6 Corvettes are between $16,500 and $20,500. Now let's dig up some currently for sale listings of 2006 through 2009 non-Z06 and non-ZR1 C6 Corvettes with less than 90,000 miles and see how much folks are asking. Starting with a Facebook Marketplace search of up to 500 miles from Kansas City, Missouri, up to 85,000 miles on the odometer, and a purchase price up to $20,000. Not a single C6 popped up that met my criteria. There were, however, several 2005 C6 Corvettes that did pop up. Then I increased the purchase price maximum to $25,000, and here's what I found. A beautiful 2013 Grand Sport with 61,000 miles and an automatic transmission. Looks very promising, and it says clean title right here, but here it says salvage title. If I ever consider buying a salvage title Corvette, it has to be at a steep discount. It must have lots of photos and or video clearly showing the car's damage, as well as plenty of footage documenting the entire repair process. Also, I would inspect and drive test the hell out of any salvage title Corvette I was considering. And lastly, I would have to plan on keeping the car for quite a long time because selling a Corvette with a salvage title can be quite a pain in the ass. Here's a 2008 LS3 powered C6 for $23,000 with 71,000 miles on it, and it even has a manual transmission and the desirable dual mode exhaust. If yellow is on your shopping list, this one looks to be in excellent condition both outside and inside. And again, it has the mighty LS3. This 2006 with only 50,000 miles is already cammed and has a manual transmission for an asking price of 25 grand. Some folks shy away from modified cars, and I totally get it. I look at them as a possible opportunity for that very reason, and because I think a good inspection goes a long way towards separating the well-done mods from the junk. And many times that can mean a good deal. Finally, here is an 08 LS3 powered C6, again with the dual mode exhaust. This one has two tops and only 62,000 miles. This one looks to be mostly stock and in fantastic condition on the outside, and it would be very reasonable to reach out to the seller and ask for interior photos before driving out to take a look at it. So once again, I think the Kelley Blue Book numbers are materially low for the C6 Corvette, and as of late July 2025, I think you can pick up a decent condition C6 with about 85,000 miles on it for around $24,000 to $26,000, and that's about $10,000 more than you'd pay for a similar caliber C5 Corvette. So the next question, and really it's from the title of the video, is which one would I buy today if I didn't already own one? For me, the answer is pretty straightforward. I like the way that both cars look, although there are a few views of each one that I like better than the other. I do like the interior better on the C5, which puts me in the minority. However, it is what it is. Although I will admit I do like the seats in the C6 a fair bit better than those in the C5. In my opinion, both generations handle about the same for spirited street use or even autocross. The available engines in both cars, the LS1 and the LS6, the LS2 and the LS3 are all very reliable, but there's simply no hiding the fact that the LS2 and the LS3 have 50 to 80 more horsepower than the LS1 and the LS6. And they do so with about the same fuel economy and perhaps even more reliability. So overall, I do like the C6 just a little bit better, but I don't think it's $10,000 better, especially when many guys take and add a cam and headers to the C5 and equal or better the horsepower level of the C6. Or better yet, you add a supercharger kit from A&A to the C5 Corvette and you beat the C6 horsepower level by 150 horsepower for around the same overall cost. In making this video, I set some screening criteria that I thought was reasonable and rational in order to try to make a useful comparison between these two great generations, to try to make them as close to apples, if you will. If I had included in the comparison a base 97 C5 and a 2012 ZR1,
the 2011 Corvette.
That would be like comparing apples to watermelons. And would somebody who has ZR1 type money really be interested in a 97 C5 Corvette? I don't think so. What do you guys think? Where did I get this comparison right and where did I miss the mark? Let me know nicely in the comments below your honest opinions. And since you made it to the end of the video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up so YouTube knows to share the video with the Corvette community. And most of all, thanks for watching.